No holding back, no stepping stones, no broken promises, no busy tones. Just what it takes, just make believe. No one belongs to anything. I've seen the lies, I've seen the lies, I've seen the lies. Train go by, this killer be killed. I wonder who lives.
From the Peterson Health Digital Studio at Pine Plow Brewing Company, this is Louis Amestoy. We are live this morning. Bobby Templeton has shown up. We got a great show for you today. Lots of breaking news this morning, and I got a spectacular double co-host situation going on today. Leslie Jones is here, and the great and powerful Emily Phillips is here. They're going to be double co-hosts today.
Oh, nice! I love a double co-host.
Yeah,
Good morning.
Yeah, how are you? We got breaking news all over the place this morning. Dalton Rice is here. Let me see here. Oh, I haven't turned it on yet.
It's all good. I got it.
You got it?
Yeah.
Brought to you by Herring Printing. I'm like a little bit late to the game here. And I also think I got to fix so we can get Wendy Jones on the show.
Yeah, I was thinking about Wendy this morning.
Yeah, we haven't had her on for a little bit because I had the problem, but she hasn't logged in yet. So, and I think Kyla Gazelle was out of town. So, all right. You know what, Emily? I'm going to throw you off for just a minute.
Okay.
I'm going to bring these guys on for a second.
You don't want to be a part of this one anyway.
Yeah, you don't want to be part of this one. All
I'll
right.
observe.
Come on, you two. Come on. Let me just get a couple things here. We're brought to you by Herring Printing. We got a lot of guests today and a lot of things to go over. But let me go ahead and get to these two. And here's the deal, folks. I did a lot of reporting around this yesterday. And Dalton, you're going to be like a triple expert witness here today. Because you're a pilot. And you're an Army guy. So yesterday was probably interesting and hard to watch because we had a plane go down in the Potomac. Yeah, it was a rough day yesterday. And, I heard some, it was like they were 2,400 feet from the runway when they got hit by the helicopter. And everyone is dead. Horrible. At least 64 people dead. 4 on the helicopter. 60 on the plane, including members of the U.S. Figure skating national team or in that entourage. They were on a flight from Wichita to Reagan National Airport, which if you've ever flown into Reagan, it's tight. It's tiny.
Yeah, well, flying into the major airlines or major airports, especially airlines, they have procedures.
Yeah.
They have, arrivals, they have departures. They follow a certain path, if you will. And that's how they get hundreds of aircraft in, constantly. So that's what's, NTSB is going to try to figure out is, did the plane deviate from anything, which you couldn't really tell in the air traffic control, radio. Everything seemed like it was moving fine, or did the helicopter mess up?
Yeah.
Was the helicopter at the wrong place, doing it? Because the glide slopes and everything for aircraft are the same.
Yeah.
They typically will always follow the same same path, especially if they're on what they call an instrument flight plan.
Yeah.
So, it'll be interesting to see what comes out about this.
I was watching some experts on this yesterday, and they were like, that's probably one of the safest planes in the world to fly, that particular model. I guess it's made either by Bombardier or Mitsubishi, and regional plane, one of those small ones. I've flown on those several times in my career when I was doing a lot of traveling. But, yeah, it's a horrible day. And then we have chaos because let me just say this real quick. I have to editorialize for a minute here. Listen, folks, this is why you need to have trusted sources of media. There was a guy who put out a thing on Monday here locally that the Immigration Customs Enforcement group was running around Kerrville, and that set off basically a panic among people. And then it was kind of, I got to tell you, Bobby Templeton is here too. It's a little bit of a comedy of errors in some ways. People, in the wake of the Uvalde shooting, law enforcement and schools are working closer than ever together to have regional planning efforts. And there happened to be one yesterday at Ingram Tom Moore High School. Now, full disclosure, I help Ingram with lots of communication stuff, and so I was aware of some of this. And Carolyn, do you need money, Carolyn? Carolyn needs money. Okay. Anyway, and so I was aware of some of this, and I also talked to people in the community, and we had a situation yesterday where parents were flipped out, mildly, and now we have the schools are dealing with the kind of the fallout of this. When we have Brent Ringo from Kerrville Independent School District and Robert Templeton from Ingram. Guys, what's happening today?
Go ahead.
First, good morning. Good to see you.
Yep, here we go. You're on now. Okay.
First, good morning. Good to see you. And yes, there is. I know Dr. Templeton had more of that fallout than we had in KISD. But anytime something happens nationally or even state level, there's a lot of rumors that can flow around, and we have great relationships with all our law enforcement partners, both locally, state, and nationally. And so there's nothing that has happened in KISD. I know Dr. Templeton will talk about his district, but with that, we follow all the laws that are required by us locally, state, and federally. And our first and foremost focus is to educate all students. The great state of Texas does require us to educate all students. And so schools are a safe place, and the rumors that you hear out there are not happening in schools.
Right. And I want to make this clear. I went through yesterday. I did publish a story late yesterday. Well, last night I published a story that, there was no evidence to this, and that the immigration enforcement that was happening nationwide was basically in key border cities. It was happening in Texas, but the main focus of ICE's efforts right now were on criminals that were here illegally and that they had an eye on, and they were grabbing them and putting them out, taking them and deporting them quickly, or sending them to jail in some cases. So. But it escalated quickly, Dr. Templeton, and you kind of around 5 o'clock, you were like, we got to make a statement here.
Right. So yesterday we were contacted by probably 3 or 4 news outlets, both locally and in San Antonio, and the rumor was going around that the ICE agents, law enforcement in general, were going into schools doing, and I'm using air quotes here, raids and picking up students.
Right. And that was not the case.
True.
Not the case, right? I mean, because the kids are dangerous, so we got to pick them up. So
well, we want to do our part. We have protocols that deal with law enforcement, and we do it all the time, and we're very good at it. But this one is not. I would say it's not just a rumor. This is just an out and out lie, because there was absolutely no validity to it. We do our very best to work with law enforcement partners. We do our best to educate kids. We do both very well. But this just got out of hand, and keyboard warriors get there, and
yeah, right.
They in this case just make stuff up.
Yeah, right. And this was particular. And like when I looked at it yesterday, there were hundreds of comments, and hundreds of shares of this, and so it was getting out there. So the key message here, though, is that nothing has happened. We're business as usual in both districts right now. And I think Centerpoint, I heard this morning from a source there that they had a staff meeting and they assured everybody that nothing was happening and that everyone was in good shape.
Yeah, it was a very normal, uneventful, I would say just a vanilla day, at least for us. It was a great day, actually.
Right. And for you, Dr. Ringo?
Yes, great day this week. Yesterday, there's been no issues, concerns. We're business as usual, and really focusing on what we do, welcoming our students in our schools and having a great learning environment, supporting all of our students.
Now, this there was an event yesterday, as I was kind of alluding to at the beginning of the show, that it was a regional kind of public safety meeting, right, of multiple law enforcement agencies. Could have happened at any of the schools here in Kerr County. Just so happened to happen in Ingram Tom Moore, so people looked at that. Oh my God, what's going on over there with all those police officers? And so,
So here's what happens. Every quarter, Sheriff Letha is required to have a school safety meeting where he invites local law enforcement, state law enforcement, and schools. And everybody just gets together and brainstorms and goes through various scenarios, just working through anything that could possibly happen in order to keep schools and kids and teachers safe.
Yeah. Does that move around to other schools?
It does. Last time it was at Centerpoint ISD. Yesterday it was at our house, and I think Brent might be asked to host it next time. So it travels around, and maybe that's where kind of the rumor got going, because there was probably 15 police vehicles outside, which looks a little odd.
Right.
But all of those guys checked into the office. They're happy. It's just it's a good collegial atmosphere. And to me, it's a pretty thick jump to go from, a safety meeting to an ICE raid.
Yeah.
And I sure wish people wouldn't do that.
Right.
And to highlight on that, about 2 weeks ago, we had a sensor at Tybee High School go off and set off the fire alarms twice that day. Just a bad sensor had to be replaced. But example of that is social media. Somebody driving by said, I hope all the students and staff are safe. With what's happening over there, it looks very dangerous. And we're having to respond to that when it's just a sensor. So I know anytime our law enforcement agencies are on campus, which is often, we have SROs in our schools. We have partnership meetings with them because our goal, first and foremost, is to evaluate scenarios to keep our students and staff safe. And unfortunately, rumors spread quickly on social media.
Okay, so how are we communicating this to the Hispanic community? There's probably a number of parents who probably don't speak English and might need to be assured of this. We were talking about this earlier, but is there a way to talk about this with the parents?
There is. We're planning on putting out a joint statement today, all the schools, and we'll also do it in Spanish.
Okay.
I think those are the families that are probably the most worried.
Yeah.
And I understand, it's a scary time. I get it.
Yeah.
I was actually getting coffee this morning, and the lady in the convenience store said that normally there's 50 to 100 people come in, workers.
Yeah.
To get coffee and snacks and that kind of thing, and they had zero.
Wow.
Today. So
wow.
people are scared, and I don't pretend to know what's going on nationally. I'm not a politician, but I do know that our schools are safe.
Right.
Our kids are safe, and it's a pretty normal environment at least right now.
Right.
And to speak on that, it's not just our schools that are safe and great. Just to highlight the state of Texas, the graduation rate from Texas public high schools is at 91%.
Yeah.
It's the fifth highest nationally. Obviously, it's a lot higher here in Kerr County with our schools, but we just want to reassure all our parents that our schools are doing great things and they're safe places for our students, and we're going to be there for them.
Yeah. I mean, it's always a pleasure to walk on the campuses here in Kerr County. I mean, I enjoy it. So I don't, I get the fear and I understand it, but too, and I think it's our responsibility to make sure that the right information is getting out. I mean, if it happens, we're going to report on it. But I mean, the baseless stuff is really difficult to kind of wrap your head around. So, and this is hard as well. Just to have you two here, a blizzard of stuff coming out with the legislature right now. Were you guys both in Austin over the week?
We were. You
guys were both there. So vouchers, school choice. Yesterday there was executive orders on DEI. Did you even have time to process everything that happened in the last 48 hours?
That question comes up a lot. There's going to be a lot of opinions that will be coming out. Everybody's got a statement, but right now really nothing is finalized, and we are not putting out, at least our school, we're not going to say much until we get guidance from the state and our attorney. We know exactly what's going on, because I don't want to be a part of exactly what we're talking about and spreading rumors and telling things that aren't going on. But the landscape is changing. Schools, the world of schools is going to be more competitive one way or the other. It's going to be a unique environment, I would say. But one thing that is not unique, and that is our teachers' dedication to making sure kids are safe and taken care of and well educated.
Right. What do you say about that, Dr. Ringo?
Same response. I know we work closely with Dalton Rice, our city manager, as far as legislative agenda.
Yeah.
And I think roughly there's been, 4,600 bills?
I think 4,600 bills.
Filed.
Yeah.
600 plus around education. And most of those bills do not see the light of day. And so similar to that, we monitor them. We do give input to our state reps and work closely with them. But because there's so much out there, most of it will not even advance. So we don't give too much comments on it until we know what's proceeding, so we can talk clearly and understand it better.
Yeah, it's too early in the session for any bill. Education, city, finance, infrastructure, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of duplicates. What we're going to start seeing is the school vouchers are going to lead the charge on what gets passed and what doesn't.
Yeah.
I think that's what this session has really been built about, has been education. And so anything that does pass, you know, kind of beyond that is going to be, I think, geared towards school vouchers.
All right.
And just to highlight, you know, people ask what are vouchers, and just to spread what that is under bills that have been proposed. That just means it could go to pay for any type of school, whether that be Baptist, Muslim, Catholic, Jewish. Somebody open a school, it seems that's what it would go to pay for. Right. Whereas, you know, the tax dollars for public schools, we know what that goes to and how those dollars are accounted for.
Right. The first one is from the Senate, and it's $10,000 per kid, $11,500 if the child has special needs in some cases, and there's that got through, I think, one committee yesterday. In the Senate, it's usually where it's running into trouble is in the House, and so we'll see how that works out as well. And let me just say this, guys: 4,600 bills. A lot of those are like one paragraph or like a change, a typo. I think they should have like a different category. Like, okay, administrative bills, like your typos and your paragraphs, because I look at some of those sometimes. It's like, what did they change here? Oh, they have like one red line in this, and it's a bill. I mean, that doesn't count.
I think they should put a cap on the number of bills filed. I mean,
yeah,
you know, fine if you want to go file stuff on chemtrails and whatever.
Yeah,
do it, but you're limited on the number of bills that you can file. Right. You know, each session.
Right. You get to file one thing. So, I want to file a bill to bring a shot clock in for boys and girls basketball. That's my bill. Come on.
Well, it is a legislative year.
Can we get that done?
I would probably second that.
I want a shot clock.
Julie and I will be going to Converge for tourism in February. Would you like me to bring it up with our
Yes. Right.
Got to get a rider in there.
I'll already be in front of them, so, you know.
Can I get a shot
I'll throw
clock?
it in there with the tourism stuff.
You're like, oh, by the way.
Yeah. Also, I want dome stadiums for our high schools too. I want to put that in there. We can get that done. Let's put some more on gas money in there. So we got to get Bobby a new stadium, and we'll cover up Tyvee's facility too. All right, guys. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it very much.
Thank you for what you'll do.
Great job as always. Thanks for being here on short notice too to come down and tell us as well. Again, no ICE raids on campus, and I think right now the ICE stuff is basically in. Like I said, when I looked at it yesterday, they had made about 10,000 arrests, mostly in large cities. In Texas, it was confined to Dallas, Houston, San Antonio, parts of Austin, and Laredo. There's. I would say as chaotic as it's been, I think there's actually a plan in place, and we will. It's not going to be something that's going to be. Well, I mean, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. There's a lot to kind of determine.
I think the chaos is some of the plan. Yeah, so it's good to do things like this, and it's great to have y'all here to talk about and how great y'all do a job of keeping the kids safe.
Yes.
So thank you.
You know, and we always say that you can have the world's greatest English program, the world's greatest college program.
Yeah.
All of that. But if kids are not safe, none of that matters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, we live in a world
job one.
And we live in a world where that's forefront, I think, on a lot of
that's
people's
job one.
heads right
job
now.
one. Right.
That is the bedrock of everything we do.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, if we had a school administrator basketball game, we'd be pretty good. We got Templeton and Ringo. We get Lee Poole. We got some size. we got some guys who can got some hops. So I'm glad you guys are here. Appreciate it very much.
Appreciate you.
All right, thank you guys. All right, good job. As we mentioned before, yesterday, thanks for Dr. Ringo and Dr. Temple for showing up on short notice. We'll bring back Emily Phillips. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. Boy, what a morning already. Here's the thing that's interesting is that you're right, Leslie. I think chaos is sort of the primer here on this, and we saw yesterday the chaos blew up in a couple of areas. First off, Dalton, you made the point on Tuesday. We don't know what this grant and loan thing is going to look like because nobody really knows.
Yeah.
And I was looking at a thing yesterday for a city where I used to live where they were looking at doing a grade separation right? Which is where they go under the train tracks, right? Mm-hmm. Something they've been trying to do for 50 years, right? And finally got the funding for it. Federal train dollars, right? But like I said to myself, I bet that's frozen.
Right now, everything is kind of up in the air. I know there's a lawsuit that went out that I think tried to do some injunction on it, but yeah, it's still really too early to tell. But what's interesting is a lot of these grants, or some of the ones that are getting frozen that we do know about, are ones that were already awarded. Mm-hmm. These aren't in the process. These were ones that are already awarded. And this is where I think the state of Texas should really, fight for the dollars coming into Texas for infrastructure, for water, for, for things that, cities are doing. I think they should fight that battle for us.
Right. And I think the issue that, I made this point earlier this week that I don't understand the immigration, conversation in a lot of ways, and people get upset about it. They're like, I don't know what you're talking about. We want. I'm like, look, legal immigration is fine, right? Texas has got some challenges ahead of it, and what I don't understand is we are arresting illegal immigrants, but why are we arresting them? Because they have an incentive to come here because there's jobs. If you look at this, like a lot of times, you'll go to HEB at night, right? And you'll see these little clusters of guys, right? And you're like, I bet you're not legal. But they come in at night together as a group. And a lot of times that's how they work together. They come in as a group. I've seen it before. And so they kind of live together, they share expenses, and they send all the money back to Mexico or wherever they're coming from. But they're usually doing some sort of work here. They're either doing construction, they're doing some kind of agricultural work. And let me tell you, this is the thing about living in California. You live in California, you don't even see people. There's people that come to California to work in the fields who don't even speak Spanish. They speak a native language, right? These guys will show up from Peru who are shepherds, who are like these tiny little guys, who show up because no one will do that work anymore, right? The Europeans that came to do this in the 50s, they've made their money. They're out. They're lawyers and doctors now. They're not going to go out and raise sheep. So they bring in immigrant labor. But there's a way to do it that's smart. And this is what I understand about Greg Abbott and all these other guys. Like you seem to criminalize this behavior, but you don't criminalize the reason why they're coming here. You don't criminalize the companies that are hiring these folks and are not paying taxes and not paying all the stuff on this in the first place, who are cheating the system. Why is that not happening? Why is there not $1 million fine for every illegal immigrant they find in a meat packing plant or a farm or a dairy or a construction site? Because you can't have that conversation. And I guarantee you when push comes to shove that they'll be, if they tried to do like E-Verify or one of these other services in there that the business community is like, oh, no, don't do that to us, right? Because we like our cheap labor.
And the reality of it is, we as consumers like the cheap labor too, even though we don't want to talk about it.
Right, we don't want to talk about it.
You hear business all the time, even in Wall Street Journal and articles. Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, if I have to pay for a more expensive worker, prices of goods are going to go up. Well,
yeah. Well, you hear all this rhetoric too from people. I mean, look, it's always refreshing to look at social media and realize there's a whole hell of a lot of people who are just grossly racist and grossly prejudiced and don't like people of color. And they're like, they're destroying our culture. What does that mean? I kind of like the Hispanic culture personally, partly because I'm related to it, so I don't really have a problem with that. But you see this in there and you're like, I get that you don't like change, but there's a lot of this as well. And a lot of these people, they just want to, they're coming here, they're coming to America for the right reason. They're coming here because they believe in the American dream. And this is the frustrating thing about this immigration conversation. This is the frustrating thing for me for diversity, equity, and inclusion stuff too. There is a fundamental disconnect between affirmative action and DEI. Now, Emily Phillips here works at the Special Opportunity Center. She's one of the key volunteers, right? we have done a lot in this world to mainstream those people,
children,
by making them feel inclusive and there. Dalton Rice is a veteran. We work to include them. Leslie Jones is from South Texas, and we tried our best to keep her included as much as possible. You're also into roller derby.
I don't even really need to be a part of this conversation. I'm a white woman.
Yeah.
But
Right.
thank you.
You're a white woman.
Hi.
Yes, but I think your work with Special Opportunities Center is very important, and it's great that it's so dear that you find a passion in that.
Yes.
To advocate for that.
Right.
Yes, I am on the board at the Special Opportunity Center. And I was also just going to speak to immigration. So my husband is a first generation born in the United States. His mom immigrated from the South Pacific in the 70s and went through the legal process to become an American citizen. So George, firstborn American citizen.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So we make Kerrville a little more diverse.
Right.
I think both of my boys were like the one or two Pacific Islanders
That are in there.
right?
Right. So when you look at the numbers for KISD, Barron's always like, I think I'm the one.
I'm the
Mom.
one.
I'm
He's
the
like,
one.
I'm the
He's
one.
like, hell yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Hell
me.
yeah.
I'm like,
Right.
start a club.
Start a club.
Start an AAPI
You better.
club.
You better. You better
It's
learn.
gonna look good on those
Does he know how
college
to? If he's from the South Pacific, does he haka? Does he do that?
George
stuff?
can do the haka.
Can he?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
that's so
And it's-
cool.
Yeah.
It's probably really awesome.
His
Yeah.
mom immigrated from Tonga.
Oh,
in
really?
The 70s.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah.
That's I bet that there's a story there.
It's a beautiful culture.
Right.
It is. It is.
Oh man, Tonga. Boy, I tell you, I used to work. Never mind.
And for people who don't know where Tonga is,
Yeah.
think Fiji, Samoa,
Yeah.
Tahiti.
Yeah. Tongans. There was a. Never mind. This is not appropriate.
Yeah, let's keep it
don't ruin
appropriate.
Don't. You're on a good roll today.
There was a joke for a while there that Utah was trying to annex Tonga so that BYU would have football players. That
Well,
was,
they have plenty of football
plenty
players.
of football players from Tonga. Sorry.
Still got it in.
I still slipped it
Still
in.
landed it.
Do you want me to slip in the Peter O'Toole thing, Leslie?
Still time.
Still time. Anyway, I'm grateful that we had Bobby and we had
I
Brett
think that
come
was
in
great.
to come in here.
important.
Cody Newcomb is also dealing with the same issue over at Centerpoint. Oh my gosh, Dalton, it's a strange time.
Yeah, the flow of information is difficult, and the more information we get out there, and the less critical thinking people have, the more challenging it becomes.
Yeah. You had a 90-minute council meeting the other day. It was quite delightful. I enjoyed it. It moved along very nice. But then the mayor was like at the very end. I might say to the very end because he was like, "Don't get used to this, everybody." You know what's interesting though? I was looking at this yesterday. Just as an aside, I was looking at other cities, and so Kerrville is the size of is 24,000 people, right?
Give or take, yeah.
One of my hometowns. I was looking at I was looking at the council agenda yesterday for a city of about 30,000. Their meetings routinely are 4.5 hours long, and their agendas are huge.
Yeah.
So as we grow, these meetings are going to get longer. It's amazing that they're only 90 minutes to begin with.
Well, and it's I say it's seasonal. It's not really seasonal. There's as council put their council priorities out, we're starting to now work towards those priorities.
Yeah.
So really 80% of what we're doing is day-to-day stuff, and nothing's going to change.
Yeah.
But then you had, 20-30% of the priorities and the growth and the 2050 plan and all of that. We have to work, really start working on a roadmap to get some of those things accomplished. And that's really what we're doing is we're building out the roadmap. So all the things are happening behind the scenes, just council hasn't been able to take action.
Right.
So that's why we encourage people to go to the Citizens Academy. Is what you see in council is council making those decisions in a public meeting, public space. But what we did to get to that point is a lot of work.
Yeah, right. A lot of work to get to that point. And a lot of work goes down behind the scenes too, in the workshops. And, I think it's interesting though, that people will used to complain about why do these politicians have to meet all the time and why are they professional? And
because they can't meet behind
closed doors. Yep. And they can't increasingly it's more and more complicated,
Yep.
And there's been meetings where if you add your executive session, your workshop, the council's in there for 6-7 hours at a time.
Well, and sometimes too, and this is definitely not an issue with our council. They're very pragmatic. They do their research. They stay informed, and of course we communicate and keep them updated. But you can tell the councils, in other cities that don't get together, and the first time they're looking at their packet is, when the meeting's open. And now they're having to go through the entire packet, ask the questions. They weren't prepared.
That should be a paddling.
And we
that should be
we don't have that. We have our council. They're very well informed.
Right.
They want to be, as they should be.
Right.
So those meetings are a lot easier because then they can ask the questions that are important to them and get those questions answered.
Okay. All right. Are you prepared to make a comment about the airport situation? I reported it today that I got Scott Shellhays on the phone, or he emailed me yesterday that Andrew Munoz had resigned, and so what's happening over there at the airport? He's the airport manager, so he's gone now.
Yeah, so really from the city and the county side, we are really the owners of the airport. The airport board, chaired by Scott Shellhays, they're a governing body. They operate, really, as a governing body. Once they get put in place, they have they have to deal with personnel. And so while we, are aware of what's going on, we know what's going on, we're keeping a close eye on it. It's really their operations, and we'll help them through it however we can.
Right. And you're doing some help with that as well, because you fly.
It has nothing to do with it. I fly because it's a hobby, but it has nothing to do with the decision making.
Now, is it true that you now have a Honda Jet? Is that true?
I still only have a propeller plane. I cannot afford a Honda Jet now.
Yeah. Just kidding.
No, there is no. Now if I could sell a kidney for that, maybe.
Maybe.
But no.
There's ways.
The black market, maybe. Yeah. No, definitely not a Honda Jet.
Would you ever fly like an experimental plane, like one of those hovercraft things that are out there now, like the big drones like things that are lurking in the future?
Probably yes. So before I started having kids, I had a lot more high risk activities.
Well, you jumped out of planes and stuff, right?
Yeah.
How many times have you jumped out of a plane in your life?
Only like 150, not very many.
Jeez.
No, I say not very many because when you talk to folks that are, that's
right.
Nothing. There's
but
10,000, 20,000.
For like a layman.
Yeah, but
the general public, Dalton.
You have a better chance of getting hurt on Sydney Baker than you do jumping out of it.
But you've jumped out of out of all of us right here, you've jumped out of the plane
The most.
100% more than the average person.
Go do it. It's fun.
Maybe one day.
Go do it.
Did you ever do the fast rope?
We did quite a bit.
Now that seems more terrifying than jumping out of an airplane.
It depends. They had 120-foot ropes. Though we didn't like doing the 120-foot fast ropes.
Yeah.
That got kind of rough, but we're like, 10, 20 feet off the ground, we're good.
Yeah.
But it's not bad. It's quick. It's easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're going to eat it. Somebody's going to land on top of you. You're going to land on somebody else.
Yeah.
It's just part of it.
Right. I just feel like it seems like one of those things where you've done some adventurous stuff in your career. So
some of the funny things you don't think about. We're all piled in a helicopter, no seats, just sitting on the ground. We're hooked in just with monkey tails. Doors are open. And, we'll go, and your legs are falling asleep. You're trying to wake them up before we land, and sometimes you can't, and you get out and just eat it.
Yeah.
Wow,
and then you're just getting the other person back into the plane until their stuff gets...
My anxiety did not raise by 50% at all by listening to that story.
Sign me up.
Yeah. And also, you're pulling your own cord, right? You're the one pulling your... Oh, my God, I almost yanked off my thing.
Yeah.
You're the one pulling your parachute, right?
It depends.
Okay.
If you do static line, no. You jump out and it pulls for you. And you're about 1,200 feet off the ground, 100 feet off the ground.
Okay.
When you do the one that you pull your own chute, you're 10,000 feet, 20,000 feet. And then you
I
open
feel
about
like
6
I have to be strapped to somebody else that's going to be pulling the cord.
yeah, right.
I think I need that for the
I
first
did a story
time.
I did a story on a guy that jumped out of planes with artillery, so of course he was also stoned all the time too, but that's another story altogether. What's more maddening, the savages in the backseat of a car strapped into the car after they've had tacos or the planes?
The plane is easy. So when they're loud or doing whatever, we did get a new one. We got a 6-seater one, so it's a little bit bigger, more of a Suburban. I can just mute them because we all have headsets. I can just mute them, and
that's
so
true.
I can't hear them.
You know, the Honda Odyssey has that ability too. Just so you know.
Hey, yeah, I'm jealous of the Honda Odyssey. That's almost like your Honda Jet.
I know. I'm telling you, it's the way to go. Emily, you got so much going on right now. Just to let me put it on over on Emily. Maybe let's move that microphone a little closer to you too, if you could.
Okay.
Yeah, you got. Listen, here's the thing. Emily is she's involved with Arcadia for their wedding thing they're going to do. Then also you're also involved with Special Opportunity Center robotics, which is I have to apologize for. You reminded me of this, and my weekend got away from me. How did the robotics team do? And your youngest son, you have two boys. One's at Shriner, right?
Correct.
Is he going to play football or not?
I don't know. I'll have to ask him.
Yeah, okay, because that's coming next year.
That's right.
That's right. He played offensive line at Tybee, right?
He did.
Okay.
Yes.
And then Barron, your youngest one, who's just a great kid. In fact, he's so comfortable. I interviewed him last year. He was like the spokesperson for Tally Elementary School. How did the robotics thing go?
So Barron's in 6th grade, and he's on the robotics team at Hal Peterson. We don't have the official scores. I think they did pretty well. I do not think they did as well as the Tallybots did last year.
Oh, really? Interesting.
So we're still waiting for information.
The Tallybots were great last year.
He did. Awesome.
Yeah.
It was really fun.
The what is it like to have a kid that likes the robotic stuff? I mean, I just feel like it's a different level of kid sometimes. Like I wouldn't understand it at all.
That's something that George, my husband, really fosters with them because George is a tech guy.
Yeah.
And so we have 3D printers, and they do coding, and they do all kinds of stuff like that.
Yeah.
Jackson, actually, when we were still in Seattle, Jackson did robotics there.
Okay.
So
that's kind of required though, right? In Seattle, like
absolutely.
you have to have it right. You got to do it right.
Yes.
So, but the robotics events are fascinating to go to. Where was this one held at?
It was at the same place.
Okay.
I can't recall the name of the school.
It was like that charter school in San Antonio.
San Antonio.
Yeah.
Like college prep.
College prep school, right? Yes. I went to the one that was at the Military Institute. Also, that was where Tybee did theirs at as well. So,
and I've heard that the Tybee team is doing quite well.
Yeah. Those kids were fun. That was a good group of kids too, as well. All right, tell me about this Arcadia event you're working on.
Oh yes, so I am on the wedding committee for the Arcadia.
Okay.
And we are doing our first wedding expo. So major cities, Dallas, Houston, San Antonio, they all have these expos where they bring together vendors, and brides, grooms, families can come and find some resources for their wedding. So ours is...
I saw some advertising on
It's
this.
coming up.
Yes. So Sunday, March 23rd from 12:30 to 5 at the Arcadia. The entry fee is $10. Comes with drawings. You'll get to meet music, drinks, food, caterers, photographers, all kinds of things.
Yeah,
all the little puzzle pieces that make a wedding come together.
Hope it come together.
Yeah. I've retired from shooting. Well, actually, I shouldn't say that. I shot a wedding about 2 years ago. I was doing it against my will for a while there. People would call me and like, "Can you shoot our wedding?" I'm like, Lord.
It's a lot. And I think it's also really great exposure for the Arcadia that this isn't just a place for concerts and movies, but that this beautiful venue can also be turned into...
It's a great flex space.
Yeah.
Yes, and a beautiful place to have a wedding or your reception.
Yeah.
We are still looking for vendors. We have a couple more spots. So if there's anyone out there who would like to showcase what they do,
be a great
reach out to the Arcadia.
Great opportunity.
Libby
on the label will take care of you.
Yep.
Leslie, if I were to share with you my wedding photography story of hell.
Please tell me.
So I have a stepsister, and she was getting married to this guy.
Okay.
And
you begrudgingly shot their wedding.
Well,
Are they still married?
No.
Was it their first marriage?
Was it because you shot their wedding?
Well, I mean, I don't know what. Who
Okay.
knows?
All right. Okay.
Yeah, she was.
All right.
Anyway.
So you shot their wedding.
Yeah. No, I did not shoot their wedding. They hired a photographer, but
okay.
They were getting married at this facility in La Jolla.
Facility.
Yeah. La Jolla.
There was no Arcadia.
No Arcadia.
La Jolla is beautiful.
La Jolla is beautiful, right? But La Jolla in September at sunset is a little humid. Just say that. A little hot.
Okay.
And so my job was to run up and down all these stairs because the place was terraced, right? And it was like stair step down to the ocean, and it was a very beautiful backdrop. And if you go on my Facebook page, actually, you can see these photos.
Okay.
And my younger brother, who is disruptive, in every photo
only your younger brother
is flipping me off in every photo.
Fantastic.
This is a late afternoon wedding. Of course, it was hot.
I have seen these photos.
Yes.
I think.
And I was soaked. And I was wearing, the because
You're in full wedding
because I'm
garb.
part of the family, right?
Yeah.
But I'm also taking photos, so I'm in full wedding garb, but I am just drenched from being out there.
That's the worst.
And my stepsisters were like, well, "Why are you so sweaty?" Because I'm running
Why'd
around.
you plan your wedding at this time of day?
Yeah. I go, because I ran, because you wanted all these photos. I had to climb all these God-forsaken stairs, But the photos are actually quite lovely.
I'm sure they are.
But she had this dog. She had this geriatric dog. And he was in the wedding, too. His name was Buddy. And Buddy I thought he was going to,
But he also had qualms with time of day.
Yeah.
The wedding was planned.
Yeah, it
Poor
was
Buddy.
it was around his fecal matter disposal time. So I thought he was gonna have a bowel movement right there during. He was walking down the aisle and
That would
started.
have been a great wedding show.
Oh my gosh, it kind of describes some things. So
Hey, there would have definitely been pictures of it though.
Yeah.
I was in a little period where I shot weddings, and I thought, I could do this. And then I was like, after that, I was like, no.
I think it takes, there's wedding photography is its own genre of photography.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
And there are people that can really nail it. And then also there's also aesthetics that change and trends that change with that too. So.
I do say that I had the big kind of, photojournalist cameras too that are really loud.
Yeah.
You guys have been, I don't think Dalton's experienced that yet, but I have the big cameras that, man, they are like machine guns. They
It's like you're at the Met Gala.
Yeah.
And you're yelling at people. Over here.
over here. Dude,
With the bright light.
Now on the side.
Yeah. Now
They're just screaming your name.
Right.
Leslie, over here.
To the left.
Now my cameras are completely silent.
Oh.
Yes. So they can go, which is great at the symphony.
Yes.
Because I would get complaints from Bruce Strachey. Like, your cameras are too loud.
Complaining to the Kello about you.
I'm like, shut up, Bruce. Anyway. So now my cameras are completely perfect for weddings. So.
Well, then you should hop back into
I don't want to do it. No. No.
Okay.
No. Because then you have to.
Go be a vendor at the show.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, no.
What if you how about this? What if you were the anti-wedding photographer?
Yeah.
And you were there to be like, this is what you don't want at your wedding.
Right. This is what you do not want. Right.
And it's just your collection of the photos you took of your brother flipping you off.
Oh, yeah. 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 He was, that was a great, it was a nice wedding, actually. The food was nice. I took some beautiful photos of my children at that particular wedding. And, yeah, and then there's my brother flipping me off in the photos.
That.
Anyway, all right. And then what's going on in the Special Opportunity Center?
Special Opportunity Center. We are just
Who won
I'm getting out of here. I gotta go.
You gotta
Bye,
go?
Dalton.
Yep.
Oh, I didn't want you to leave, man.
I gotta go to my next thing.
All
I'm
right.
going to the middle school to do career day.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Say hi to Barron.
All right.
He's in 6th grade.
Tawny Fontaine Jenner, by the way, was very happy with the lineup we had here earlier. She wants a calendar of all three of you together.
She's very excited.
Yeah.
Get a quarterly calendar.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Cost her a lot of money.
A lot of money. A lot of money. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Dalton. Yeah, the Special Opportunity Center. So who won the tournament? Did Gene Lehman win it again?
Yes.
He's like 2-2. He's 2 for 2 now.
Yes. Right? Gene won.
Yeah.
I should double check.
Just double check that.
Let me put it on the thread and find out for you real quick.
Get it up there. Did Gene win this tournament or not? But that was
Let's ask the chat.
Yeah, you guys learned some lessons from the first one, and then now you guys have got it kind of dialed in now too.
Yes.
And
it's a great event. People love it.
People do love it. Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
It is. Yes. And we're looking for ways to expand it, to make it bigger so we can have more teams.
Yeah.
We do it at the Arcadia, which doesn't give us a huge amount. It gives us a lot of space, but we could always have more.
I thought that Brett Ringo would be a good cornhole player, but he's not. He's terrible.
You just thought because he was tall?
Yeah. And his wife's even worse. So they're terrible together. It's great.
They're raising children.
They're busy with other things.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because really, you got to be
their
able to.
children, by the way?
Yeah, they're a lot of fun.
You've been around Brett Ringo's kids?
Yeah, we've used them for a photo shoot.
Really?
We used their whole family for a photo shoot for the CVB.
Do you realize those kids are only
Oh my God, I know. They're tall. The boys alone, where
they're
you're like, you're
Okay.
how old?
Gene Lehman and Zach Hahn won. So, yes.
Okay. Congrats.
Who confirmed that? Was that Brittany?
That
confirmed?
was Brittany.
Brittany confirmed
Yes.
that? Mm.
Brittany, our board president.
Board president.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm pretty certain that Brett Ringo's children will be NBA players.
They should be.
They're gonna be like, when I saw them one time, I was like, I thought, well, they're not little kids anymore. They're big.
Tall.
They're tall children.
Tall. Like 5'6",
Yes.
5'7".
I agree.
In elementary.
In elementary school, yeah. All right. So when is the next SOC event?
Y'all have something coming up.
We do. We at Arcadia Trivia
Okay.
in March. I think it's March 20th. We will be sponsoring it, hosting it. So in between the rounds of trivia, we will be talking to people up on stage, promoting the SOC, sharing what we do for our individuals, how people can get involved.
I think that
And we have some other exciting things too coming up. Can't announce yet, but you'll have me back soon.
I will have you back for that, because that's an important one to do, because we like the SOC and all the things they're doing there.
Well,
as well.
and I don't know if this has to do. Is it the Night to Remember coming up?
Night to Remember is coming up. There's something else that's going to come up.
Okay,
soon.
in between that. Got it.
Right.
But Night to Remember is coming up. That's in Fredericksburg.
Okay.
It's still a great event.
It's a great event.
Yes,
Great
but,
event.
As a board member at the SOC, one of my biggest focus is always, getting more classes, getting more field trips, getting more opportunities.
Yeah.
For
You
these
teach classes, right?
I do. I teach yoga.
Yeah,
I'm a yoga
right.
teacher. So I teach yoga to the individuals. We are getting cooking classes and exercise classes. They do pottery. They have a music teacher who comes in. Basically, if they tell us they're interested in something,
You figure it out.
figure it out.
You meet their need.
Yes.
That's so
And
cool.
you weren't involved at all, but you became friends with Brittany Lehman, and you kind of have to say yes to her. So
Yes, she rushed me hard to be on this board.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't say no. And then once you get involved, you love it. And
Right.
It's really a matter of
So
heart,
if Brittany moved away tomorrow,
Mm-hmm.
like to some weird place, so Gene could race cars,
Right.
would you still be involved with the SOC?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you're hooked on it now.
I love it.
You love it,
Yes.
right?
And I think there's people in our community who aren't aware of the SOC. So if I can highlight it and bring these wonderful individuals to their attention and, just really be purposeful and intentional with my own life. Like, what can I do to serve others
Right.
and help?
I think that's one of the things too, that you look at this and you're like, I love the SOC story because, and I've shared this before, and I've not as many times as I shared the Peter O'Toole camel drinking beer story.
I told Lewis has shown that more than he realizes, and so now he's on it to show it to me every time he can.
Oh, great. Yeah.
Sorry,
ever
that's
seen
my
it?
fault.
No, but I feel like you want to show it to
you're
me,
about to
right?
probably get a link.
Okay. Text it.
Everybody, you know what? Everybody laughs at that video, by the way.
It is funny.
And the other one that people laugh, actually more men than women. The story that I tell about the Chewbacca with the cone.
The cone
and
that you got pulled over.
for. Yeah. You know who Chewbacca is, right?
Yes, I'm familiar.
Yeah. Well, let me say this. I got pulled over the other day because I was thinking about this. You ever drive the G-Wagon and think to yourself, how did I get to Mary's Tacos? Or how did I get here? How did I get to this place? Because you don't remember where you
When you
drove.
zone out.
You zone
Right.
out.
Yes,
I zoned out the other
absolutely.
day and didn't make a left-hand turn signal because I was thinking about sending this photo of Chewbacca
with a surgical cone
for the dog.
to Joe 3.
Yeah.
He got pulled. That's how
got
he got
pulled
pulled
over.
over. He forgot to turn on his turn signal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And then when
Yeah.
he showed Joe 3 the picture that got him pulled over, he was very unimpressed.
Right.
Very unimpressed. Very unimpressed. But here's the thing, right? Joe is not. in my demographic. He's a millennial. He's like an older millennial, right? Like you.
Yes.
And
or an exennial.
Exennial.
What's an exennial?
We're like a lot, like we're like the in between, like we're closer, we're like right in the edge of Gen X and millennial. We're
I'm
like,
Gen X.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
but you're like a child Gen X though.
No, I am not.
Okay. Well, I am.
She just is aging gracefully.
I'm a Gen X.
I am 1975.
Okay. Yeah. Sure. You're in the Gen X, right?
So I was 1983.
Yeah.
And then that
so you're at the outer words.
And there's like those 80s babies where we're like, but we fall in between this. We're like a little lost generation.
Okay.
I would say definitely. I would definitely say that
because now like there's people like in their 30, like literal 30s being like, I'm an elder millennial. And I'm like, no, you're not.
Yeah, no, you're not.
That's me, baby.
That is you.
I'm ancient.
You are.
In this
I would
generation.
definitely say that you're more Gen X than millennial, but that's just me.
When does Gen X go to? Like the early 80s?
Yeah.
It depends on what you read.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also, I had boomer parents.
Okay,
Yeah.
So like, and there's like, cause that's a very big generation, but like, there's a lot of people my age that also their parents were Gen Xers. So I think that's also a different.
So like I could be your mom? No. A Gen Xer couldn't be your parent.
Well,
It depends on where it falls.
If they were like the 60s.
Yeah.
Yes.
It depends on where it falls.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah, and I got boomer parents. I got boomer parents who were born in
Because
1947.
that's why I have a lot more in common with Gen Xers because
your parents were older.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think, you're a Gen Xer. Although, I had a guy that worked for me one time. His father was a World War II veteran, and he was like he was like in his 20s.
Yeah.
I'm like, but to me, he was like a boomer because he had
it's
this
funny.
old
My
thoughts.
my dad still will be like, I'm not a boomer. And I was like, yes, you are.
Yeah,
I
yes,
was like,
you
you're
are.
born in 1953.
You are totally a boomer.
So I was like, it's also a really big generation. Sorry.
I kind of
don't make the rules.
I kind of view Gen X between 1966 and like 1985 is kind of my general rule of Gen X. So, but like I also think like my parents
it's like those weird
boomers.
fringies,
Yeah.
Yes.
whenever you're like on the cusp, because like I remember like, yes, we learned computers, but like the internet wasn't prevalent. Like not everybody had cell phones. Like I didn't get a cell phone until I was a freshman in college.
Yeah.
Because it was still like not everyone had a cell phone.
Yeah.
Yes. I had a car phone when my parents sent me off to college.
Yeah.
They gave you a car phone.
Like
Wow.
a car phone.
bag
like
phone.
It was like a bag phone
Yeah.
under my seat.
Wow. They were very worried about you. Maybe. I did not have any of that. But here's the thing, though. Going back to Chewbacca, for guys my age, that's hilarious.
Okay.
I get it.
It's like if I showed it to George, he would
Send him the picture.
he would be-
He's in Philadelphia right now.
He'd be-
I'll give you his number.
He would love to get it.
He
Yeah.
would love it. He would. He would love it.
That'd be a great surprise.
If it just randomly showed up from this weird phone number, you're like, oh my god,
he's like
who the
even
hell?
better.
He's got all the time in the world for this.
Like, what is this? But see, he'd be at a meeting, right? And then he would see this thing, and then he would start snickering, and
And then
everybody-
he'd have to show
he'd have to
everybody.
Let's
show-
do it. I'll
Yeah.
give you his phone number
Yeah.
after this.
All right.
You can text it, and then
Okay.
you can do a follow-up tomorrow. Let
right.
all of your viewers know.
But what
How
George,
did the Chewbacca
how did
land?
Chewbacca land? Right. It would. I guarantee, if he was anywhere in the same
kill.
room,
It'll kill.
Exactly. It's like
Yeah.
the Peter O'Toole video.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Listen.
let's see if it kills at a
When you
board.
got a crutch, use it.
Use it. Right. Exactly.
If
Exactly.
it kills at a boardroom in Philadelphia.
Oh, it would totally kill in the boardroom in
I'm sure he's
Philadelphia.
going to pass it around.
Yeah. He's like,
Hey guys, let's
Make
call this
him-
meeting to
and
a
then-
halt. Look
And
at
then
this
make
picture I
him
just got.
video it.
Yeah.
I want a live
Yeah.
reaction.
yeah. Well, doesn't he work for a bunch of lawyers? And so, I mean, isn't it his deal? I mean, so
He works for yes.
yeah. And so, like, they would definitely stop the meeting for that. They're
I'm
like,
sure.
because they're
Sure.
probably all our age. They're probably all in their 50s, and I'm.
And who wants to be in a meeting?
Yeah.
be in a meeting?
Yeah.
God, I can't stand. You know what I was thinking the other day? I don't know about you guys, but I'm getting increasingly more and more comfortable not being on a team, not being a part of a group anymore. I'm
get
like,
it.
I think I think being solo is starting to really, really, fit me really well. So, oh my gosh. All right. So we have SOC, we have Arcadia.
And I have one more thing.
Oh, one more thing.
The River Center.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So they've closed on their land,
Yeah.
and so their next big thing is moving into like funding for the structures.
Yeah.
But they are having, because I'm working with them on community events, and let me pull up my notes so I get the dates right. River Center, they are having an event on, it's called Let's Go to the Lake. It's on a Sunday in April. I believe it's April 27th from 2 to 5. It's a free community event, and it will actually be at the site of where the River Center will be built. And so it's a great time for the community to come out. There'll be food, drinks, games. Yesterday we were talking about bouncy houses and yoga on the lawn.
Yeah, right.
And
that's really
hot
cool.
dogs.
I met some vendors. I had to work a meeting planner show yesterday, and I met some vendors in San Antonio that do a lot of mobile different activities.
Yes.
So I'd be happy to send that to you
would be
because they have a
wonderful.
ton of great stuff where I was like, and they're right down the road and they love working in the hill country.
Oh, that would be so great. Please do.
Yes, I will.
Because we were actually speaking about there are these like mobile game companies.
Yeah.
And they bring like, those big like
Yeah,
bubble suits.
these guys have
and-
like a mobile escape room. They have axe throwing. They have like, listen, they have,
there may be liability with
well,
axe
the
throwing.
axe throwing are they're not real axes.
Oh, fun.
That's what makes it all safe. But anyway, they have
absolutely.
like 5 or 6 different types of mobile things,
Yes.
which I was like, oh my God, thank you. I'm so glad that I met you
perfect.
today. So
Yeah.
anyway, I got their information, so I'll talk.
Yeah.
I'll get your email and we'll talk.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this community event will just really be to showcase where this beautiful location will be and, really exposing the lake
Yeah.
to the community, So
What's up?
I'm listening. I'm listening very carefully
To the music or to us?
to you guys.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Where you look like, what's up with that?
I'm very in tune with it. You know who was who's going to get into bounce houses?
Who?
Darren from Peterson, the Christmas decorating guy.
Okay.
oh, cool.
Do you remember him?
Well,
He was
yeah,
on the
I
show
do
he was
remember
on the
him.
show the
Yeah.
other day. He's really tall.
Yes.
Yeah. He has the house on 500
Yes.
River Hill Boulevard.
Yes.
So yeah, he's getting into bounce houses too.
Yeah.
He's gonna have a
these
mobile-
guys have like but they don't just have bounce houses. They have like all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Look at that dog, by the way.
Like they even have like it with like where they can shoot like the shoot hoops thing. Like it's like
Yeah.
they have like 6 and the guy just builds it, and so now he got smart and has like a person that helps him sell it. So I got to talk to her name was Abigail. But
What
anyway,
about-
I'll send you the information.
you.
I thought that the indoor. I love the indoor kids fest thing they did at Arcadia, by the way. But I thought there should be something like you could throw the kid off the balcony kind of deal. That's got to be a thing somewhere. There could be a way to do that.
Yeah. What was it?
Safely,
Kids
yes.
Fest.
Kids-
George and I sponsored that. I think the first year they did it.
Yeah.
It was really wonderful.
It
It
was
is-
really wonderful.
That was my idea, right?
Was it?
Yes, it was. Because I said, here's the thing, right?
Wait, you wanted people to be dressed up as like gorillas or something.
And
Yes.
he wants
What
to
was
throw
that?
and he
That
wants
was-
to throw kids off of
That was
balconies.
But he wanted
safely.
Yeah.
He wanted people in gorilla costumes.
Yeah, I wanted gorilla costumes. I wanted to have it as a exhibit at Arcadia Live, and it would be like people.
Like,
could-
come see the monkeys.
Yeah, right. Come see the monkeys, and you could walk around.
It's just so ridiculous.
It is.
It's like come see the monkeys and it's Lewis in a gorilla costume.
I
It's
also
so
feel like I've had
stupid.
this conversation with you multiple times.
Yeah, I've had that conversation.
Listen, he's like he gets on a thing. It's
Yes, and now I've been indoctrinated into the camel drinking beer
Yeah,
and this
yeah.
Chewbacca in a
Yeah.
cone.
Yeah.
So I feel like
Yeah,
now
yes.
I'm going to circulate through these
You're in
3
the-
stories.
Right.
I'm in the inner circle.
you
Yeah,
are.
Yeah,
right.
okay,
You are in the
cool.
inner
This is
circle.
what it's like in Lewis's brain.
Yes,
So once you
exactly.
understand that, you will start to understand him, which is scary.
It's really scary.
And I thought I had you pegged.
I know.
I was wrong.
This is why I got kicked out of
You're so
Arcadia.
layered, Lewis.
I know.
Like an onion. This guy.
This is why I got kicked out of Arcadia for trivia. They didn't like my trivia questions.
I don't think they were prepared for your comedy act. I was, but I don't think they were.
I don't know why they were upset by it. So I should do my own trivia night then here. We should have our own trivia. night.
I'm sure. Okay.
We would have fun with it. So
Why not?
KPSF is having their trivia night.
Yeah, it's coming up.
Oh, yes, that's going to be so fun.
Yeah.
Yes.
I might have to buy a table for that. So we'll see what we can do with that. Leslie, before we leave, stuff and things. What kind of stuff and
let's
things?
do stuff and things. We got some cool stuff
Yeah.
going on this weekend. Let me get that pulled up. I came in and wasn't prepared.
Let me see if there's any kind of,
Well, it's still Renfest, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's this weekend,
This is
right?
the final weekend for the Renaissance Festival. Okay, today, here pretty soon, in about half an hour, you have Sprouts, the reading program over at Riverside Nature Center. This is a free reading program at Riverside Nature Center that you can get your kiddo signed up for. It starts at 10:30, and it's every Thursday. So that will kick off. There's new exhibits opening at Kerr Arts and Cultural Center today, so you're going to want to go see those. The exhibit Shermalee and Lou and the Matt Cowboys is in full swing at the Museum of Western Art, so you're going to want to go see that stunning exhibit. And then, of course, the past and present exhibit at the Hill Country Arts Foundation as well is up, and that is works from their permanent collection. So all great things to do on a Thursday. Tonight, over at the Trailhead Beer Garden, you have the pop-up Writer's Circle. Brought to you by Jacoby Cardwell and Conrad Burt. So you see a lot of very talented singer-songwriters. There's big seed kids show up. Anybody, if you're a musician, these are your people. And then so if you want to listen to really cool live music, you should go. So that'll be at 6:30. And then we get into our Friday. You have a lot of live music going on. Brent and Ryan will be live at Cafe at the Ridge at 6 p.m. You have the FCA Ladies Night Purse Bingo at Arcadia this Friday, tomorrow at 6 p.m. So this is brought to you by Ken Stubble Ford and catered by Vicino. So it sounds like it's going to be a good time.
Very good,
That sounds like it's going to be fun.
I know.
Bingo's hot right now.
Oh my God, I love bingo.
I do too.
And I'm so glad it's having a moment because like you don't really have to think. It's the best of gambling without really you being still at risk because you can't really control anything.
That potential that you could win.
Yeah.
You know,
and you get the rush.
Anticipation.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love it. Anyway. So enjoy Purse Bingo with the FCA ladies tomorrow at Arcadia, 6 p.m. You have also live music. The Flashbacks are going to be playing at the Wyo Ranch Hotel. If you need to be the star of the show, karaoke will be at Into the Hills on Friday night at 7 p.m. Saturday, you can kick off your day with the Farmers Markets. Hillside Harvest Market is right at 5 Points at Carlson Law Firm. That's 8 to 1. And if you take Water Street right into downtown Kerrville, you'll run right into Heart of the Hills Farmers Market at 841 Water from 10 to 2. Both great markets. You can find a lot of goodies for yourself. It's a wonderful way to support local business directly. So I highly recommend you get out there and do that. Final weekend for the Renaissance Festival. It's Saturday 10 to 5, Sunday 10 to 5. Get out your medieval best or whatever. It's Time Traveler's Weekend, so dress however you want. Whatever
I
time
saw a guy
travel
dressed
is.
in a Star Trek outfit.
Yeah. Even better. And then so just get out there, go nuts. And if you don't want to get dressed up, even better. You're a time traveler.
Yep.
So it should be a lot of fun. I'm going to go. It's the last weekend, so I need to get out there. Let's see. You've also got even more live music, of course, happening. You have live music with Lisa Beck at Cafe at the Ridge from 6 to 9. Shay Gott will be live at the Silo at Tail Chasers Dog Park 7 to 9. Kerrville Comedy Tonight in downtown Kerrville at Divines. That'll kick off at 8 p.m. Very funny lineup for you. And then on Sunday, of course, Renaissance Festival. Final day. Get out there. Kick them off with a bang.
Right.
Eat a turkey leg.
Right. Get a turkey,
Get a turkey leg. Get a lemonade.
They also have
the food is always the best.
They always
at Ren
have
fairs.
a fudge guy too.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And also like the candied nuts.
Yes.
I love a candied nut.
Candied nut.
I know I know what that sounds like. I still love it.
I know. Well, that's
It's worth the joke.
Right. Again, following the news this morning that no survivors in this horrible plane crash of American Airlines regional flight that was landing at Reagan National Airport last night. There were 60 passengers and 4 crew. And then an additional, at the Black Hawk helicopter that hit it, there was a pilot and I guess it was three on that. So 67 dead, according to this, including skaters Gina Hahn, Spencer Lane, along with their mothers and coaches, and the CEO of the. This was. They were part of a skating club from Boston. They were flying back from the national competition. So this is
It's
heartbreaking one, and it's like one of those things too. You're in that last leg of the flight. We've all been on that before. You're like, okay,
You're about to land.
I'm about to land.
You're all,
Yeah.
And
home.
boom. And
It's really gutting.
yeah.
And
you're,
there's probably someone checking your arrival,
Yeah.
circling, in the cell phone line.
It's everyone's worst
Yes.
fear.
yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, it's why your parents want you to text them.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's
heartbreaking.
Yeah, and then
it's really hard to fathom.
And people
too.
are also probably on their phones at that time too, because people are cheating all the time. You're like, oh, I'm gonna get on my
it's
phone.
completely.
Yeah, I'm within like a quarter mile of the airport, so we're gonna go ahead and get on my phone. I'm
About to land.
Yeah.
and then they never land. So, oh my gosh, what a day! What did we learn today, Leslie Jones?
Well, right now I'm about to cry talking about this thing because it's hard to fathom. Like, I was at a conference. I heard it last night as I got back to the hotel, and then I'm still processing it. So it's hard listening because not in a bad way. It's something you need to know, but it's devastating to hear more of the details come out. And I don't. So that's really front and center. I learned that we have a lot of people in this community that care a lot and work really hard.
Yeah.
And you showcase that today. That's what all together. That's what I learned today.
Emily, what did you learn today?
Well, I learned that, the superintendents for our school districts are really committed to the safety and the education of our children.
Right.
And that the priority is the safety and the education. And also how important it is that, accurate information is disseminated.
Yep.
Through Facebook or these groups, because we don't want people living in fear.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like we can either live out of fear or out of love. Let's choose love.
Yeah, that's absolutely right.
Let's not be afraid.
I learned that you guys have a high tolerance for putting up with my shenanigans, so I'm
Yes.
both grateful to both of you. So anyway, we all have to get back to our day jobs and day lives and things like that. So tomorrow, will Julie be here tomorrow, or is she going to blow me off
She
tomorrow?
could be.
Could be.
She's like a mysterious figure in your life
She's
now.
mysterious. I know. She kind of Julie
My
Davis.
boss.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I love this.
Julie
Yeah.
Davis. She's the CEO, president CEO of the Kerrville Convention and Visitors Bureau.
Okay, great.
Also incredibly busy lady.
Thanks, Lewis.
Thank you guys.
Yes.
Have a great day. We'll see you guys again tomorrow here on the Lead Live.
Well, that was